Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. How'd your Christmas go? Did you even get a chance to have a Christmas this year? Or a holiday if you don't even celebrate Christmas? But this year, there's nothing really worth celebrating to begin with, so maybe we didn't have celebrations this year. Who knows what happened this year? Let's just kind of forget this year even happened, eh? If you're a regular viewer of mine, welcome back. Yes, I am still here. I'm still uploading videos occasionally, and here is finally a new one. I did want to get a Gigantosaurus video finished. Gigantosaurus. You can correct me down in the comments below if I've got that wrong. And it is nearly done. Here is a preview of it. That's the video I was working on until I got this idea for this animation that you're watching right now. Didn't know if I was going to get it out on time. Evidently, I didn't, but you can see the process of how it went about. And it's my first kind of full attempt at this frame by frame animation style. This was a experimentation to see if it worked, and you can let me know in the comments below if you think it looked good or if it didn't. It's a bit wonky in my opinion, it looks a bit all over the place, but we're going to call this animation the Cyberpunk 2077 edition. Now, I wanted to get this video released on Christmas, but just like everything this year, and just like Christmas itself, that plan didn't go to plan. Actually, to be honest, this video wasn't even planned at all. I mean, it kind of was. I wanted to do something for Christmas, and I've actually kind of always wanted to do a video kind of like this. I've always had this idea in the back of my mind of wanting to do an animated video, not like what you're watching right now where you're seeing a time lapse of it. I mean an actual frame by frame style, kind of like the style of Disney back in the day. So I've always wanted to do kind of like that, fairly ambitious, and this video is obviously an example that didn't go quite to plan. But basically I've always wanted to do a frame by frame traditional styled animation, and that is actually kind of what I want to do in the future, hopefully better than what you're watching right now. But the idea is that I kind of want to explore animation. I like to experiment. I don't really like to study initially. Like, okay, obviously I like to study, but I don't like to learn how to animate in the traditional sense. How I like to go about things is exactly what you're watching right now. I like to try it first. I'm the kind of person who, I have this idea, it's a very time consuming idea, but basically I'm like, okay, I want to start an animation. I have no idea how to start the animation, but I've seen different ways of animating, and let's try that myself. And I've learned a few things in the process of this animation. First of all, normally if you've been watching digital style illustration, you'll sometimes notice that artists use this blue line, and I explored doing this blue line. Basically that little blue line is your rough sketch that you use as a basis for the illustration, and then you draw over the top of it, and apparently, like, you know, the blue is meant to be able to be faded away digitally or something so that it goes away and then you're left with the final artwork. To be honest, I'm still not very good at that, and I don't really do that except when it comes to digital, and it's kind of cool like that in digital. In this instance, that kind of went against my favor, I think. I'm thinking in the future what I could do is just go into more layers, but more layers means that it kind of messes with the animation, and it's easy to draw the frames. It's hard to animate the frames and to get it working in a flowing motion. And then I noticed that the app that I use to do all my digital drawings, which is called Procreate, you can get it on iOS. It's actually only on iOS, but basically they released an animation assistant, which I've been using for this one, and I basically just wanted to get a rough little sketch done to see if I could even animate something using it, just as an experiment. The silly thing though is I had this idea to do this animation on Christmas Eve, thinking I would be able to get this out by Christmas Day. And I don't know if you know anything about traditional animation. You can probably tell already by the process of this video. Traditional animation takes a very long time. Like normally when you see one of my time-lapse Christmas themed videos, I'll have a few of them linked down below if you even are interested in Christmas themed videos a week or so after Christmas. That takes a little bit of time to actually get the drawing done. I mean, if you draw, you might not draw, you might just like watching my videos for the sake of watching it. But if you do draw, you'll know how long it takes to get one drawing done. And if you know anything about traditional animation, it's it's usually what, 15 frames to 30 frames, somewhere around that, usually 25 frames per second. If you want a 1-second animation, that is 25 images, and 25 images is 25 times longer than one illustration to animate. So that gives you an idea of how long it takes to animate something and why I really shouldn't have came up with this idea the day before Christmas. So that is why this video is taken so long to get out, and yeah, I spent this time experimenting, trying it out, and I figured there's probably something to learn from it if you're watching it, especially on how not to animate. And I'm actually working on another animation after, to be honest, in the middle of this animation, I was thinking to myself going, I'm not liking how this animation is flowing, because the way I did this animation, I couldn't see the last frame, and because I was trying to do it the old 25 frames per second style, I couldn't actually see the middle frame either, so I'm progressively trying to guess where the next frame will be while trying to remember where the first frame was. And you'll notice that the more frames that I have, okay, you got your first frame, starting frame, and you're trying to figure out where the 25th frame is going to be, and you're trying to get this flow of animation going step by step to that point. The way that I did it wasn't really ideal. I should have started with the first frame, had the next frame being the last frame, and then having the frames interjected in the middle as motion moves along. But what I did was, I'm like, okay, we'll do the next frame as the leg moves a little bit further, kind of like stop motion. The next frame is the leg moving a little bit further, and then the next frame, the leg moves a little bit further still. And because of the way animals move, the way dinosaurs move, I'm trying to get the head motion as well. And what I progressively learned further into the animation was that heads tend to get smaller if you don't know the proportion of the first frame. The legs get a bit all over the place. I wanted to have the body moving up and down as the raptor was walking, and the walking was getting a bit muddled, so it kind of looks like he's got a stumpy leg. And halfway through, I'm realizing that I've went about this animation the wrong way, but because I've spent so much time on this animation, I didn't want to just scrap it completely. So I tried to fix it how I could, and we have ourselves the Cyberpunk 2077 edition. Not quite finished, but we can enjoy it for what it is. So I'm going to do this animation, not this particular animation again. Well, maybe I will. Maybe I'll do this animation for Christmas again. Who knows? But basically, I have an idea of an alternative way of doing it. And like you see in this time lapse, I'm going to document it. The cool thing about the animation program, it's not actually an animation program. It just happens to have a new animation feature in it. It's a drawing app on iOS or iPad called Procreate. It's a fantastic app. I've been using it for years now. It's awesome in that it actually records each and every single stroke that you draw, so you actually can record the time lapse of the illustration as it goes along. As you can see right now, what you're watching. The cool thing is that they've added a frame by frame animation assist, which is different to the time lapse. So it's interesting that it works with frames. I'll have to do a more dedicated video on this, because like I said, this video wasn't really particularly planned, and it seems like something a little bit more structured. It seems like something that you could really learn from, and if you like learning things, well, maybe hit the subscribe button. And not only will you learn more things on how to draw, because I do have more plans on, especially with YouTube shorts. I want to do some YouTube shorts on how to use like an eraser, pencil, etc, etc, etc. But basically, as I am learning how to draw these things, in the process of drawing these things, especially using the animation assist on Procreate, which has a time-lapse recording feature, you get to see the process of how I went about drawing each frame, and then how I went on drawing the next frame, and then how I went on drawing the next frame, and then kind of how the 3 frames, for example, blend together in an animated space. I hope it's viewing as it seems in my brain. My brain gets very scattered, as you can tell by this unorthodox style of narration, but basically the way this is recording is you're seeing every single pen stroke that leads to the frame, which also shows hopefully me flipping through the different frames to see how the animation is looking. And as I'm getting further into the animation process, you're seeing more of the frames evolving. You're seeing me fix and adjust each individual frame. You're watching when I notice that the head's too low or too high, or even too small, when the leg is in the wrong spot, or when the arm is in the the wrong spot in the flow of the motion. It's just really cool that it seems like in the style of this time-lapse recording, that it's also picking up my adjustments as I'm flowing through the animation to see if the animation flows. So that's something I wasn't necessarily expecting to be able to do with this app, but I was thinking to myself, well, it always records how I'm drawing something, which is the basis of my channel for the last few years. But theoretically, if it's showing the process of me drawing and I'm also flipping through these frames of animation, it should show you the process of the animation while I am animating and, well, drawing the animated frames. So that seems kind of cool. We'll see how this time-lapse edition goes, and if it is cool, let me know. So yeah, I definitely want to do more videos like this. I definitely want to do more animated dinosaur run cycles. I want to do walking, running, jumping, if I can even. I would love to be able to actually have some fighting motion like I've drawn in the past, T-Rex versus Spinosaurus, T-Rex versus Indominus Rex. I still want to get Spinosaurus versus Indominus Rex. I don't know if I've drawn that yet. There's a lot of dinosaurs that you, the regular viewer, want to see me drawing, and what if I could actually not only draw the dinosaur fights, but actually animate dinosaur fights? I don't know if I can do it. It sounds like a really cool idea. I want to try it, and even if it doesn't look great, I want to see if I can at least try it and share what I've done, because I've seen some videos out there on YouTube of some amazing animations, people just trying some animated stuff, and it's just something I want to do. Like, I try to draw my dinosaurs, especially my cartoonish dinosaurs, I try to draw them with motion in mind. I wanted to try to get a sense of weight and movement in my drawings, and that's in only one frame. So if I can get that in multiple frames to show the actual motion, that would be amazing. And realistically, that is kind of my ultimate goal for this channel. I've always loved traditional animation, and I've always had this concept of animating Jurassic Park scenes, but in a loose animation style. Actually, I think there was a Jurassic Park animation cartoon planned years and years and years ago that never went ahead, and if I can make little short scenes, even if they're not full scenes, but I'd love to get short clips done from Jurassic Park scenes, but in a loose animation style. Obviously, I still want to draw hybrid dinosaurs, I still want to draw mashups, I still want to draw cartoons, and I obviously still want to do freehand, traditional, step-by-step how to draw things, because I enjoy doing that. So that won't change, but I definitely want to expand into frame-by-frame animation, and if I can teach you how to frame-by-frame animate by watching me frame-by-frame animate, and I'm going to be basically just learning through trial and error, and if you can learn to animate through me, I think that would be pretty cool, actually. And because of how wonky this animation is, this is also kind of a teaching point. I do read a lot of your comments about how you wish that you could draw like me and that your attempts didn't look like mine. And here you can see a prime example where even the quote-unquote experts have failed in their attempts as well. So you won't always get your drawing done the right way first time round. As you can see from my first attempt, this attempt didn't go as well as I wanted to, but you know what? I'm going to try it again. If I don't try this one again, I'm definitely going to try a different style of it again, and that is another lesson for you as well. If it doesn't look the way you wanted to look the first time round, try it again. If it doesn't look the way you wanted it to look the second time round, try it again. I'm still trying to draw Indoraptor's head. Indoraptor's head for me is actually quite challenging to draw, so I'm still trying to draw it. I think I'm about 10 attempts in. So just use that as an example that even those that you look up to, you wish that you could draw like them, just know that even they struggle. And you know what? I even struggle to get this narration done. My mind gets scattered, I ramble, I've probably talked too much in this video already. You're probably bored. Hopefully you're not. If you're bored, I've got other videos you can watch. But yeah, that's basically a learning lesson. Basically, keep at it. So as we end 2020 and we head towards 2021, I just want to be mindful that 2021 might not be perfect. Just because it's a new year doesn't mean it's magically going to get better right away. It will eventually get better, obviously. Everything does because eventually, I mean, even World War I, World War II, that eventually ended. All the pandemics in the past, they eventually ended. So this too will eventually finish. Things will get better, but it's not going to get better right away. So instead of putting all our hopes and dreams into 2021 being this amazing, fantastic year, appreciate what you have right this moment. Just take a breath, stop planning for the future all the time, and enjoy what you have right now, if you can enjoy it. If right now is good, enjoy it. Take a breath and just go, yeah, okay, this is right now. Because who knows what next month might bring. So let's just try and make 2021 better than this year was. And I plan on doing more of this kind of animation in 2021. So with that being said, let me know what you thought about this video, even if you didn't like it. If you didn't like it, let me know as well. Do it nicely, be respectful with it. But if you really didn't like this video, let me know so I know not to do too many of these videos. But if you really like this video, I do plan on doing more, so let me know in the comments below. I know I talk a lot, I talk way too fast. I probably already have talked way too fast in this video, and I read that, and I'm going to be doing my best to try and adjust that in the future, because just like my drawings, making videos is an art form and I want to improve them over time. So if you have feedback or suggestions, I want to hear them. And on a final note, and I know I shouldn't be saying one final note because YouTube growth experts say that a final note is a sign that the video is ending and that you should never give signals that the video is ending. But by this rate, I've got at least 10% of you still watching. Sometimes I'm even lucky to have 20% of you still watching. And it's for you 10-20% of you watching that I want you to know this last little bit. I'm getting close to the 30k mark. I did initially want to have a 20k video done, shouting out all the different people who've done illustrations based on my videos in the past. Life got in the way. I don't know if it was before or after the 20k mark that my mum got cancer and then passed away from cancer. We've already gone through that story. I'm going to do more art based on cancer awareness in the future, but this video isn't about that. That's for another time. But 30k subscribers, I want to do something a little bit special for that, like I did with my 10k subscriber video. I do want to make a celebratory video. I've never really cared that much about the subscription numbers. It's cool, but that doesn't really bother me that much. What I really care about is when you send me pictures of what you've done, when you tag me on Instagram, when you tag me on Twitter. It's probably actually better if you tag me on Twitter. See, I still like getting tagged on Instagram. The problem with Instagram though is the way that it works. You can change your username, you can change all that stuff, and I'm actually planning on doing that possibly with my own Instagram. I have an Instagram for Bean Arts, I have an Instagram for Beanie Draws. I haven't actually put anything on the Beanie Draws Instagram because it was the other Instagram account that I was starting with. Still don't know what I'm going to do there. But with Instagram, basically what I've had to do if I want to shout someone out is I have to take a screenshot of the DM, or when I'm tagged in the tags, however that works, basically I have to screenshot that, re-upload it. And the problem with re-uploading is that if I tag you in it, yeah, some people might click the tag, but realistically people aren't going to click the tag. I will get the likes, you probably won't get the likes, and what's the point in that? What's the point in a shout out if you don't get any recognition and I'm the one getting the likes? And the other issue with Instagram is when you change your username, that breaks the links. When you tag me, those links, I think those links get broken. I'm not entirely sure, but definitely when I do the @your username, this person did a really cool artwork, I want to shout them out. If you change your name, that breaks the link. So if someone clicks on that tag, it says that the user's deleted or the user no longer exists, and that's kind of pointless on Instagram, and I don't like that. And the other issue I have with Instagram is that the quality isn't very good. The stories are better, but that's a vertical story, and it's good for Instagram. It's not good for YouTube. What I'd rather you do is, if you want a shout out, and I do want to give more shout outs, is @Beanie Draws on Twitter. That way I can directly retweet you from my account at the time of recording this. I think I have 800 and something followers, so 800 potential people to see your art, as opposed to anyone who might just happen to scroll past my, what Instagram's like with their non-chronological. It's a mess over in Instagram. But at the end of the day, @me on Twitter. That way I can retweet your art, so then you yourself get the direct, well, you can't change your @ on Twitter, so there are no links to be broken. And you can actually zoom in on Twitter. You can get a lot better quality on Twitter, which is kind of sad in a way because Instagram was meant to be this thing about photos and art. Meanwhile, Twitter seems to be even better for artists, so there's that. So, add me on Twitter and I can download it and put it in my shout out videos or just future videos in general, because I really love sharing your art. So, tag me on Twitter, let me retweet you, let me download it so I can chuck it in a future video so I can give you more shout outs. Yeah, basically I just wanna share the love, just want to share the art out there. So with that being said, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. I don't know how good the bell notification is these days. People have been having issues for years on YouTube with the notification system, so if you even get a notification of this video, you're lucky. You know what's more important than hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell? Clicking one of these videos, because I've got more videos to watch. I'll try and remember to put in my 10 subscriber celebration so you can see other people's artwork as well. But yeah, other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheerio for now.